Why does learning English take a long time? It takes weeks, months, or even years to be able to make a few sentences in English, but it should not be that difficult. English isn't my first language. I only started learning English when I was 17, and I have never lived in an English-speaking country before, and if I could do it, you could do it too. So in this video, I'll share with you 6 steps to speak English fluently and do it faster. The first step is know your level. If you can understand this video, I guess you have a pretty basic level of English, but you don't know where you stand exactly. That's why you need to do an English placement test. To do that, you need to learn more about the different CEFR levels and what learners at each level can do. The CEFR stands for the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. Simply, it's a way of describing language ability and is often used to help language learners choose learning materials and courses at the right level. These levels are A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2. I'm not going to talk about each level. That's another topic for another video. However, I'm going to leave you a link in the description box below to a free placement test from Cambridge University. All you have to do is click the link in the description box below and click General English. This test shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to complete. After you're done with the test, share with me in the comments below what your English level is. And the next step is understand what English is. To learn English fast, you need to understand what it is and what are its ingredients. So there are only 3 things to learn: words, rules, and sounds. So let's take a look at the first ingredient of English, which is words. In English, there are only 8 types of words: nouns, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, verbs, prepositions, conjunctions, articles. And it's also very important to know word types in English. So when you look at a word in a sentence, you know what type of word it is. Otherwise, how are you going to learn English? So tell me, what type of word is this? Computer. It's a noun. And what type of word is this? She. It's a pronoun. And this one? Happy. It's an adjective. And this one? Quickly. It's an adverb. And what about this? Go. It's a verb. And this word? From. It's a preposition. What about this one? And. It's a conjunction. And finally, what's this word? The. It's an article. Now that we know all the word types in English, let's now take a look at rules. Now you need to understand how to work out the English words according to the English rules. And there are some basic rules to follow. Nouns can show one, girl, or more than one, girls. Pronouns can show masculine, he, or feminine, she, or neuter, it. Adjectives can be regular, tall, comparative, taller, superlative, tallest. Prepositions show location, like on, movement, across, or time, at. Conjunctions show ideas, and, yet, so, but, or. Articles show specificity, a boy versus the boy. And verbs show when something happens. Eat, eaten, ate, will eat. So my third step for becoming fluent in English is to focus on these 3 main verb types: present simple, he works; past simple, he worked; present perfect, he has worked. There are 9 different verb types in English, and they're very confusing, but these 3 are super important. The other 6 we hardly ever use. So make sure that you focus on the present simple, the past simple, and the present perfect. Now let's talk about sounds. In English, there are 44 individual sounds like p or m or d. And then there are also 144 combined sounds like spill or sm or st. The good news is you have most of these sounds in your native language, so when you're learning English, you should focus on the sounds not found in your native language. You probably need to know about 30 to 40 new sounds because, as I said, you already know all the other sounds. Indians, for example, need to focus on the sound V, like volcano. Koreans will also need help with the sound L, like lemon. Italians need to focus on the th sound, like think. And Arabs will need help with the sound p, like pen. And step number 4 to learn English faster is to focus on language chunks. So what exactly are language chunks? Well, think of them as little building blocks of language that help you express yourself more naturally and fluently. Imagine trying to put together a puzzle. Each puzzle piece is like a word, and when you combine these pieces in the right way, you get a complete picture. Language chunks are also like puzzle pieces, but they are ready-made phrases or groups of words that native speakers use all the time in conversation. Native and native-like speakers often use language that learners find difficult to understand. A learner might say to someone, "The weather is nice next weekend," only to be met with "Don't count your chickens." If a learner hasn't come across this idiom before, they might think that the other person has gone crazy or something. I'm talking about the weather, so why are you talking about chickens? But if you look it up in the dictionary, you'll find out that the "don't count your chickens" is short for "don't count your chickens before they hatch." This idiom is used to advise someone not to make a mistake and assume that the thing they're hoping for will definitely happen. So chunks of language are often idiomatic language. Learning them helps overcome this issue all the time. Now, why are these chunks so important? Well, they make your speech sound more authentic and help you communicate better. Imagine if you had to think about every single word you say. It'd be like typing a message one letter at a time. But with language chunks, you can speak more smoothly, just like when you're chatting with a friend. Here are some examples of language chunks you can start with. For example, instead of asking, "How are you?" all the time, you can say, "How's it going?" "Hi, how's it going?" This will make you sound less formal and more friendly. And also you can say, "I'm all ears." When you're really listening and ready to hear someone out, when you say "I'm all ears," it's like telling your friend, "Hey, I really want to hear what you're saying and I'm super ready to listen to your story or whatever you want to tell me." So when you're curious and ready to listen, you can just say, "I'm all ears." And step number 5 to becoming fluent in English is to stop translating in your head. Let's say you're reading a chapter from a book or an article on the internet, and every paragraph you come across a word or two that you've never heard before. That's totally fine. If you still understand the context, you shouldn't stress yourself with translating every single word. Let those words pass by as long as you understand the general idea. No need to translate every single word. And this is, by the way, is very useful if you want to take a language test like TOEFL or IELTS, for example, because in those tests, they use a ton of difficult words that you don't get to see every day. And they're doing this especially to confuse you and to make you scared. But the questions they ask aren't really related to those words. They are related to the general idea. So I've been preparing students for IELTS for 4 years now, and I always teach my students that even though it's really important to expand your vocabulary and know as many useful words as possible, there is no way you're going to learn the entire dictionary. So make yourself comfortable with the idea that you don't need to know every single word you come across, as long as it doesn't affect your understanding of the general idea. And step number 6, which really helped me a lot, is to write every day. Writing every day will cement all the vocabulary in your memory, especially if you don't have many speaking partners to speak with. When I first started learning English, the moment I started to understand English better, I started researching all the topics that are interesting to me in English, but I had no one to share all what I was learning at that time. And this is when writing helped me a great deal. A great free website that'll really help you improve your writing is journally.com. I started using this platform a few years ago and I keep using it to this day. The best thing about this platform is that native speakers can get to view your writing and correct you absolutely for free. So choose a time each day when you feel most creative and relaxed. It It could be after school or before bed or whenever you like, and write about things that interest you. It could be your favorite game or a fun memory or something you want to learn more about. As you write, you'll naturally incorporate new words into your writing, and this will expand your vocabulary and let you communicate more effectively. And this is why you should absolutely watch this video right here about the most common phrasal verbs in English to expand your vocabulary in English. So I'll see you right there.